What's up, you guys? It's your girl Daysha.
And it's your boy Dante.
And y'all already know we are back with another great episode of Culture or Clickbait, where we take the hottest headlines in music, sports, and entertainment, and
we decide. Oh, I am so sorry, Dave, but I love you because we decided to do Culture or Clickbait.
Period.
That was actually very interesting.
No, you're completely fine. I mean, at least you know the words.
Right.
Listen. So, you guys, as we start this episode, it is Mother's Day as we're currently recording, but when you guys get it, Mother's Day will be past. But we still would like to say to all the moms, Happy Mother's Day, and to all the mother figures, Happy Mother's Day. We definitely appreciate you, all your sacrifice, and all your unconditional love. So,
hey, Mom, Happy Mother's Day. I know you're watching.
Period. Love our mamas. Now, Dante, I do want to issue a public apology as well as we start out this episode to my girl Mariah the Scientist, because on last week's episode, I definitely said that Burning Blue was a cute song, but I also mentioned the fact that I don't really like hurt hoe music. Now, no pun intent there or nothing like that, but this song was a really great song. It took me actually listening to it in the car, like volume to the max, to really be able to get into it. And I just love how Mariah filled up every pocket of the song. Her voice was almost like an instrument on there, and I love and I live.
I knew you was gonna like the song at some point because I like the song.
You said that.
So
you said you would like this.
Just give it another try.
And I did. I'm hooked. My God, I'm sold.
So while we're talking about things you like, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is Mental Health Awareness Month. I want to know, Daysha, from you. What did you do over this past weekend that aligned with you taking time for yourself?
So this past weekend, I actually got to just relax, truly relax and do nothing. I got to sit and lay back in my bed, binge watch old movies, old shows, eat snacks, and just stay in my bonnet all day. And for somebody like me who's always on the go, wear a bunch of different caps, have a bunch of different roles, I'm always pretty well put together. So moments where I get to just exist are extremely mentally satisfying to me. So I truly enjoyed my weekend. I would say that mentally I'm currently at an 8. I'll give it between an 8 and a 9. Right now. What about
8
you?
and a 9 is not that bad. I would say me currently, I'm probably at a 8, 9 myself.
Okay.
I'm still not 100%, but what I did do over this past weekend, I did take some time for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I actually took 48 hours, literally pinpointed 48 hours out of my time, and I said I'm gonna relax and not do anything. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I felt guilty. It was hard. I felt like there was something I'm supposed to be doing. I should be calling a client. I should be checking up on this. I didn't do anything. I literally just laid there and binge watched forever on Netflix all weekend. If y'all haven't seen it, go see it because it's a good watch. So yeah, that's all I literally did because I have been so busy with school and work. I just wanted to take some time for myself.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm actually happy that you did, and doing nothing is something. So good job, Dante.
Right. Now, while we're talking about doing things for ourselves and being unapologetic, Daysha, over this past week, some very unapologetic cultural things has happened, and I want you to talk a little bit more about that.
Yes. So, you guys, over the past week, we had the Met Gala happen, and the Met Gala theme this year was Superfine, which is a spin and play off of Dandyism. Now, for all of you guys who don't understand what Dandyism is, in the simplest terms, Dandyism is basically about how slave owners used to dress up their slaves who had different roles like chauffeurs, maids, more so house slaves, and different things like that. They would dress them up in finer, more European style clothing. Now, by dressing them up like that, it differentiated them from the house slaves to the field slaves, as well as it showed the social status and the wealth of their slave owners. So that is the origin of Dandyism. But Dante, I know that you can spit a little bit more knowledge to the people about how we spin the whole idea of Dandyism and turned it into Black Dandyism, which is basically a form of empowerment and expression through our fashion. So
right. So now, in order to really understand the conversation of the Met Gala and the importance of it, you have to understand where the theme actually derived from and why it's so important, right?
Yeah.
To the conversation. So when we think about Black dandyism, right? So it started as dandyism. Then our culture we brought into Black dandyism around the time of the Renaissance. What happened here is we took something that was meant to be oppressed and to classify us and categorize us in a social class to our own form of liberation and artistic visuality, right?
Yes.
We created our own sense of self out of this. You know, we used it to assemble and rally our people.
Yep.
We used it to be rebellious against what was looked at as social norms. Because going back to what you said, even though they dressed their slaves in this specific dress code, right? It was also called a uniform, and that uniform was because even though they were dressed fine, you couldn't be dressed finer than your
owners, yeah.
So now at this point, we took that and said, no, we're gonna be over the top.
As we should.
We're gonna be ourselves, and we're gonna rebel through fashion, and that's how we did it. And now, fast forward today, you see a lot of it today in all different styles of the way we dress, right? And especially in this point when it comes to Black dandyism, some of the today's icons that we can look at is people like Dapper Dan, Farnsworth, Bentley, even. Like, some of those are just a few names of people who still embody that whole idea of Black dandyism.
Yeah.
You know, and if you ever heard of Willy Wonka, the Black Willy Wonka, he's another one.
Yep. So I really love this Met Gala simply because it felt cultured. Literally, from the board members that put it together to the attendees, all the way to the menu, because they were eating stuff like cornbread and caviar. Literally. Like, I'm telling you, literally.
That's some Negro shit.
It not for real. For real. But I love that. Like, but what I want to talk about here from Met Gala, because there's so many different things surrounding it, we're going to basically sum this up by giving our top 3 women and our top 3 men that we thought did a great job at embodying this theme. And then we're going to also talk about some of the people that kind of missed the mark for us.
And when you think about the theme, you got to understand showmanship, you got to understand class, grace, style, and over the top.
Yes, as well as storytelling. We need to be able to
tell the story.
For sure. So now my top 3 women, I will give it to Teyana Taylor, Diana Ross, and Lauryn Hill. Really Lauryn Hill, then Diana Ross. And then we have an honorable mention of Janelle Monáe.
I like Janelle. Janelle actually was pretty nice to me.
She was.
Now, if I say my 3 plus my honorable mention, I would go with Dolce, Teyana Taylor, and Lupita. And my honorable mention would be Zendaya.
Okay. I like that. Now, Zendaya very much had a bitch stole my look moment, but let's be clear. If we had to give an award to the person, it is going to Zendaya.
I'm not gonna lie. In Zendaya moment, it was all about her aura. Zendaya just embodied what it meant to be a Black dandy. Yeah. You know, and outside of even that, she just embodied the energy of like, bitch, we both do this, but I do this.
Yeah, for sure. It very much gave boss lady tease, and I loved every bit of it. Now, for the guys, my top 3 would have to be Andre 3000. What is this man name? I'm drawing a blank. Rich Fresh, yes. And Rich Fresh and my last guy. I said Andre. Long as I said Andre, we good. Okay, so Andre, Rich Fresh, and my last, I'll give it to Shabuzi.
Okay.
Honorable mention for the guys. I don't know if I got one.
For me, some of my top, I would give Damon Idris the first one for me.
Oh damn, he should have been my honorable mention.
Because when we talk about showmanship, right? It wasn't even that his outfit was the most over the top. It was the way he entered.
It was the presentation.
He came in and just ripped off this pull away outfit, like like a motorcycle look, and then he had the helmet on. It was just everything, and then the outfit it didn't have to give no more.
No, it didn't,
because you entered the room and commanded the room. From there, the job is done. You know, for me, the job was done. I also liked the A$AP Rocky's look. I thought it was pretty fresh.
I love his hair,
and I vibed with it. And then I really liked it. I liked it a few of the guys, and I can't remember a lot of their names because there was so many of them. But I will definitely, I'm conflicted between liking Future and not thinking Future did enough. But I think if I had to judge it in true Future's fashion, he did what I expected him to do.
Yeah, Future gave me comme si comme ça. Different
Future's hair was the actual draw-in piece more than anything.
Yeah. And I'm not mad at his haircut. I'm sort of kind of mad at the look though. Mm-hmm. I am a little mad at the look. Now, Dante, who missed the mark for you?
Okay. When we talk about who missed the mark, I gotta keep reminding you guys that it's about the theme, right? Mm-hmm. And with this theme, when I say what I say, I have nothing against the ladies or the men who dressed as what they did. I have nothing against them, their artistry, their talent, none of that. This is all about the designer. And I don't even got nothing against the designer. It is, did you hit the mark or did you not hit the mark?
It's okay.
And my first one on my list is Sabrina Carpenter. And I love her to death. But the look did not hit the mark. It did not make the theme. Why? Yeah. Because when we talk about Black Dandyism, when we talk about the theme of the night, one of those things is stamped in class.
Yes, fine fashion.
The legs being out and the little leotard look, it didn't give class and it didn't give fine fashion and it didn't give black tailoring. It gave me, I was waiting on her to say Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or something on Broadway. Like, it just did not give me
It did give Broadway. It definitely gave Broadway. It gave
Give my regards to Broadway. That's what I got.
It gave Sabrina Carpenter Coded because it matches her brand as who she is as an artist, but I would have liked to see her step into like some real, like, I feel like she should have came very player, like, and she didn't. She tried to come more like doll baby, like, and it's like, it's not giving that, girl. It's giving very like,
if they would have made that into like some pants, or even if the pants was like a bell bottom pant, a really large flare at the bottom, then it would have worked.
Yeah, she would have been.
Her legs didn't have to be out. We're not selling sex tonight. We're selling class.
Yeah.
And that's what was missing.
Yeah.
Now another one for me is Anne Hathaway. I love Anne Hathaway to death. You know, Devil Wears Prada.
It's Dante naming all the white people.
That's not the quality. Okay. But listen, Anne Hathaway, she our cousin, right? And she showed up to the Met Gala literally as our cousin.
Yeah.
She came in like, I'm supporting my cousin's event tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, she was definitely there to support.
Like, it didn't give me nothing.
I hate to add to your train of other colored people that didn't meet the mark that night. But Miley Cyrus, for her to be somebody who gets invited to the cookout, I don't think Miley sold me on her look either. It didn't really deliver the theme. And I actually expected more, because I would have expected Miley to have like an over-the-top suit kind of like feel, because she has always been a rebel in her own right as well. So I just expected a little bit more from her look. Believe it or not, I hate to put Auntie on the docket, but I was not extra wooed by Taraji's look either. I don't think it was bad, but I wasn't overly moved. I kind of have a little bit of bias here as well, because I wasn't moved by anybody that had a short dress look.
Me neither.
If the dress was short,
went away from the theme.
Me too. I feel like everything should have been like really big, like tulle dress bottoms and, like you said, peplum pants and suit jackets and different things like that, and big shoulder pieces and head pieces. Like, that's what it was giving. And those people for me kind of missed the mark. But overall, we have to say Met Gala 2025 was definitely a night for the culture.
It was definitely a good night. I think Culture definitely did their big one on that night, and I'm here for it.
1,000%.
Now, Culture is also doing their big one in other ways as well. We have Eve, who just came out on Usher's concert and performed two of her biggest records. We had Shake a Tambourine and Who's That Girl. And when I tell y'all, Eve is that girl, because Eve did her thing. I was here for it. From the clips that I saw in the YouTube videos that I paid attention to, Eve did her thing. And I think if Eve get on stage to this day, she's still eating some of y'all up. And this is what I'm gonna say about all the people from Eve's era, and that's basically my upgrowing era. They got better performance quality than all these new artists.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, we really can talk about it. Now, this concert definitely took place in London, and as we know, that is the home to Eve, so that makes sense that Usher bought her out. I think that Eve got on stage and completely dominated it. She looked like she hadn't missed a step, a beat, or a day being on stage, and that's where we get into talking about true artistry and truly doing the work to be developed, because once you are that, whether you continuously practice or not, once it's embedded, it's in you, you can always turn it on. So I love that about Eve. And as far as her look goes, body still on point. Bussdown was very much given 30-40 inches. Love the ash blonde look on her, and she could definitely still give the girls a run for their money to this day. So if they was to put together a Rough Riders tour or anything like that, I think Eve would really be on the girls bad.
She definitely would. If you ask me, Eve performance in general is just for the culture.
I completely agree. Now, while we talking about other things that are for the culture, we have to also mention the fact that Halle Bailey had recently took to the internet just to kind of express her newfound mom bod and how that makes her feel. Now, she and her sister both went on a vacation, and they decided to post some TikTok videos where they were doing some latest trendy dances, and everybody in the comments weren't as friendly and as open and welcoming to Halle's newfound shape. Now, granted, she did just have her son. Her son is all of 1 year old, and she expressed what those comments made her feel like, and just basically talked about how they made her sad and how she asked her sister to take down the video because of all of the comments. She did also continue to say that she has been off of her workout regimen simply because she has been occupied being a mother, so she hasn't really had the time or the schedule to move around the way that she was prior to her son. So these are all just like natural processes to becoming a mother, because one of my favorite things to tell people is when a child is born, so is a mother and so is a father, right? Before that, we are all just men and women. So with the birth of something new coming about, it comes with changes. So people have to be a little bit more gracious when dealing with people who are coming out of these life-changing scenarios and situations.
I don't think anybody could have said that better than the way you just said it, honestly.
I appreciate
because that is honestly the truth. You know, we don't kind of see what goes on behind the scenes, and this is why I always say, you know, the internet needs to be a little bit nicer, but hey, you know, that's wishful thinking. That'll never happen.
No.
She's a mom.
Yeah,
she just had a kid. What do we expect?
Yeah.
We expect her to just snap back. Do you realize how busy her schedule might be? Because let's not forget, while she was dealing with her pregnancy, and even when she got off of her pregnancy, she was filming.
Yeah.
So when did she really have time to be herself? And she's only 25, right?
Yep.
So at the time, while she was still actively moving after she had the baby, of course, her body appeared to have snapped back. But the minute time slowed down and she settled, everything that was moving at first stopped.
Yeah.
And now the weight grows. And it grows at a fast pace.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a lot of people don't think about that before they open their mouth and say little things about people, especially when it comes down to body shaming, because you wouldn't want nobody to do it to you. So I really felt the hurt in her voice when I watched the video, because she looked as if she had just got done crying. And I hate to see that for her.
She did. And she's so sweet. I don't understand why or what the issue is with trying to tear down or bring out an ugly side of people that's within our like culture that have like this natural light. Like, the internet can be so judgmental and so dark at times, when in reality, look around. Y'all got a bunch of cousins and family members and stuff like that that never snap back, baby. So
you ain't even snap back.
Hello, you didn't even snap back, and that's the T. Clock it. So my whole thing is, just be nicer. Like, it is okay. And then my advice to you, Halle, girl, in the most respectful way possible, fuck these people. They gonna take whatever body you got this summer, because before you had a kid, your body gave what you wanted it to give. Now, I just challenge you to do the work and find slots in your schedule, whether you got the in-house workout, lazy girl workout, Pilates wall workout, whatever it is, so that you are comfortable. But don't live by the applause, because you definitely die by them.
Right. In other words, do your shit, sis.
Period. Now, that's for the culture.
Now, while we talking about other things for the culture, our favorite Tyler Perry couple, KJ Smith and Skyh Black, is now welcoming a new baby. They just released some of their photos on social media over the past week. And when I tell y'all, I'm here for it, because you know they are FAMU grads and they are from my favorite shows,
Yes.
Sisters and All the Queen's Men. So I'm here for it, man. Shout out to those two. I love it.
Yes, like, okay, so I'm super excited for them as well, because they recently just got married, last year sometime?
Mm-hmm.
And they have honestly been one of those power couples that have slowly but surely been taken over. Like, they are Mr. and Mrs. BET Plus. Like,
Not Mr. and Mrs. B.
they really are. They're in more shows than one. I actually was just watching a movie the other day, while I was chilling, like at home, just binge watching everything. What's the Master P movie that he made that had everybody in it? Dang, you don't know this movie?
Mm-mm.
It's a part 1 and a part 2. I can't think of it right now, but KJ Smith was in it. All in all, what I'm trying to say is,
He made a new one?
no,
Or you talking about old?
this old.
I
I got the hookup. I got the hookup too. There
was
you
gonna
go.
say I got the hookup. Yeah.
I got the hookup too. So KJ Smith was in. I got the hookup too. And the fact that you can find them on Tubi, you can find them on BET Plus, you can find them on Prime. Like, these two people are literally a couple to watch out for, because, like I said, they're dominating right now.
Yeah.
So-
And KJ does her thing in Sisters.
She does.
Come on, Andy, cause we gotta talk. Anyway.
Sorry, y'all.
Ooh, so that means in the new season, is Andy gonna be pregnant?
She might be. I got to catch up, because that show's so long that, baby, I watch it, then I stop, then I watch it, then I stop, and yeah, it just be stressing me out. Now, I'm gonna say that this right here is some clickbait, but again, always, this is some good clickbait, because we are always here for the building and growing of a Black union and a Black family dynamic. Okay,
I could definitely give this good clickbait. I'm not mad at that. This clickbait with the intent to let us know that she has a baby on the way.
so cute, very cutesy. Now, while we talk about some things that are clickbait, we have to also talk about the fact that Miss Candace Owns sat down on the Jason Lee show, and her and Jason unpacked a little bit of everything. Now, when Jason started this interview with Miss Candace Owns, he definitely let her know, this is my first time interviewing somebody who I feel like has a bunch of the opposing arguments that I have. You are somebody that I rarely ever agree with. So this shall be a very interesting conversation for us to have. And to say the least, it was exactly that. Now, as well, during this interview, we had Candace Owens talk a little bit about the Black Lives Matter movement. She talked about Kanye West and how she is going to stick beside him. And they unpacked a decent amount of theories and logics that Miss Candace Owens stands on fairly often in the public eye.
Yeah. I saw a few clips and things from the interview, and when I tell you, it was kind of loaded with a lot of different things. And here's my take on Candace, right? Before I even tell y'all what she said. When it comes to Candace, I've always said this from day one. She's one of those people who pull back that really, really nasty scab, and you just want to push it back over and leave it alone. Because she has a way of bringing things to the surface that people really don't want to hear, but they know it's true.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I fully agree with everything she says, but I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't agree with a lot of shit she say.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things be on point, and a lot of it comes from the idea that proximity, exposure, and her own logic and where she works.
Yeah.
We understand the type of people that she's around, that she work around, that she work with, the things that she's been exposed to. So she's gonna have a different perception on a lot of different topics
for sure
than the normal everyday person would.
Yeah.
You know, especially in the political arena. So in the interview, she did speak about, like, one, stating that she is always going to be here for Ye, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Jason Lee asked her, you know, about, like, how does it matter with him doing all the antics and things like that? And she expressed to him, we cannot talk about the antics before we even address what happened before the antics.
Yeah.
You know, we got to kind of go back to the origin of all of this. And she brought in, you know, she named some names, one being Harley Pasternak, whose name is buzzing around Hollywood, especially as a celebrity trainer. Mm-hmm. But he also, he used to work in Britain or something like that, mm-hmm. In the war. So there's a few different things that he has been accustomed to, or his name has been the center of attention around in a negative light. And all she says is that if you have somebody who publicly has stated, and not publicly stated, but I'm sorry, text message proof has stated, and it has been shown to the public that he drugged someone on purpose, mm-hmm. How can we even trust anything after that?
Yeah.
Right?
Anything he says, anything he does, anything. Exactly.
So now when you talk about Kanye West, and you got into an argument with this man and told him that you drugged him, and then after these drugs, we see Kanye has been off his rocker.
Yeah.
And we don't really know where to pinpoint it, but in Hollywood, they can definitely pinpoint it.
Yeah.
That becomes a theory or a question of who's really to blame. Do we blame Kanye for his behavior?
Yeah.
Do we open up more conversation about his behavior?
Or is it a residual from being drugged?
How do we address this?
Along with personal and...
But nobody wants to have that conversation or even hear that.
Yeah, everybody just wants to place blame. I also like when they had the discussion in reference to the Black Lives Matter movement, and Candace basically was just saying that her stance is that the reason that she doesn't agree with the movement is because us as a community, we have our values in the wrong place. Like, we don't value our Black politicians. We call them puppets, and we call them what's the word when they are like supposed to be our representatives,
or like front runners.
Yeah, almost like that. Like, she talked about how we don't have respect for our Black politicians or our Black leaders, or Condoleezza Rice's and the Al Sharptons and the Ben Carsons. And if we can't have respect for those people, how can we have respect or start a movement for people who are criminals or different things like that? And Jason's argument was, the movement is the movement because what's being done is simply not right. It does not matter the background of the people. But Candace's argument of, well, if we can't show love to or lift up the people that aren't doing these same things as the people in the movement, if we can't hold up our leaders, how is it that we want all this support for people who honestly can be considered criminals, in a sense? And I think that it's about the dialogue between the two, because both of them have very valid points and stances on the argument. I just think that a lot of Candace's message gets lost in translation because you have people who listen out of emotion. And let's be honest, you know what I'm saying? Us as Black people, we can respond out of emotion from our own personal traumas, things that we dealt with, things that we've seen. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes rightfully so. But you have people like Candace who operates off of logic. So when you operate off of logic, if you're talking to an emotional person, it's gonna be some major disconnection there. And I think that that's usually what happens with her. I don't think that she's a bad person at all. I just think that maybe she's not the one to bear the message to a certain audience.
When it comes to Candace, I'm gonna always say this. It always comes down to the translator, so the person who's actually speaking. I think what will work for Candace, because it's, once again, it's not that people don't like her. I think they don't
they
like
kinda
that.
hate her.
They don't feel like they feel like she's attacking when she talks.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to be attacked. And let's be honest, especially, I mean, that's just natural human nature.
Yeah.
When you feel like somebody's attacking you, now you either dismiss everything that they're saying or you immediately go on the defense.
Yeah, or
So
if you feel they judgy.
Right, you feel it's kind of judgy. So I feel like when people listen to Candace speak, they feel judged.
Yeah.
They feel like she's talking down on them, and they don't want to hear what she has to say from that point.
Yeah.
I think what will probably do Candace well, if Candace had a well-respected person next to her to be her front runner, so that
Yeah.
when she speaks, they validate her statements.
Yeah.
And when they validate her statements, it make people listen because they say, well, maybe seeing that this person said it, I might agree.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's favorite person, especially in Gen Z right now, everybody's favorite person is Jay-Z. I feel like if she stood next to Jay-Z and Jay-Z said something and she seconded or vice versa, then they might be low-key more prone to listen.
Yeah.
And I'm just using Jay-Z as an example. It doesn't have to be Jay-Z, but as an example of what somebody who's well-respected versus somebody who people like, I'm sometimey with you, would work out.
Yeah. I would definitely like to say that I think that this conversation was for the culture. I feel like we got to see two different takes on our culture having a dialogue right in front of our face. And I feel like if you a person who know how to receive a message regardless of the person that's bearing it, I feel like if you guys sit and actually watch this interview, you can understand a lot more how we could move forward as a people versus dwelling on where we are or operating out of emotion and starting to be a little bit more logical and strategic with what we're doing so that we can really take things to the next level as a community.
It's kind of like a conversation we had earlier. I feel like what Candace is really trying to do is she's trying to kind of break a systematic or a trained thought process of how we look at the world, how we view situations, and how we react to them.
For sure.
And she's trying to create a new way of just analyzing situations to not look at it from what's being presented to you.
Yeah.
Because things are not usually every time what is being presented. It's something. It's usually something behind it. And she's wanting us to see what's behind the veil, not just what's being presented in front of the veil.
Yeah.
And I think that's why. So this conversation for me would be for the culture because, like I say, I don't always agree with Candace, but in situations like this, I do because I can see what she's trying to say.
Yeah. I'm going to stick with the side of it's about the dialogue between the two. I agree with both parties in different areas at different points for different things.
Right. Now, you guys, in other news, something that I'm very excited about. If you don't know, Final Destination is back after 10 years.
My God.
We got a new Final Destination coming. So it's called Final Destination Bloodlines, and it hit theaters on May 16th. And when I tell y'all I'm here for it because I'm going to see it in 40X. I need a log to fall off a truck in 40X. I swear that is going to be fucking great. Oh my God, the horror movie kid in me is roaring.
I'm going to be watching through the cracks of my fingers. You hear me? Because I hate a gruesome movie. Now, granted, I am a Final Destination kid, but it has traumatized me.
You know how you said two things can be true at the same time?
Yes.
I'm scared of that movie, and I'm also in love with that movie. Like,
That's
how
hilarious.
can you love a movie and be scared of it at the same time?
I can't tell y'all that I am going to be in the movie theater watching it, but it's probably going to be traumatizing all over again.
Because most horror movies do not scare me, right? Unless
Yeah.
it's like a demonic movie. That's why I don't watch them.
Yeah.
But Final Destination only scares me because the way they die and the way they set up these little scenarios, they can happen in everyday life. Y'all, I fell in the shower and thought I was gone.
Man, I don't never ride behind no truck with a whole bunch of stuff on the back of it. Ever. I move. You hear me?
How you feel when you get on a plane?
Oh, God. I go straight to sleep. Because if I'm going to go, take me in my sleep, Lord. Take me in my sleep.
I go to sleep too.
No, for real. Before the plane even pull off. Now, I'm going to say that Final Destination right now is definitely giving clickbait. It's giving clickbait.
I think it's given for the culture. It's a cultural movie at this point.
Okay, I guess. Dante says it's for the culture. I'm going to say it's clickbait. But it's not bad clickbait to me. It's clickbait. It's clickbait with the intent to get y'all to go to the movies, baby.
I think it's cultural for us horror movie lovers and our movie goers. I think it's cultural for that because of the simple fact is, if you love Final Destination or you love a good movie that keeps you like this on the edge of your seat, that's one. If you love a movie where you can sit in the movie theater like this, that's one of them.
Yeah, true.
Plus, we ain't got no good horror movies or movies that make you jump in your seat in a while.
And you see, I don't consider this to be horror. This is gruesome. Like, literally. People bodies blowing up to splat is freaking disgusting.
It looks wild.
It really is. Now, while we talking about things blowing up, we have to talk about the fact that Keke Palmer dropped a new trailer / carousel vibe for her song called My Confessions. And this basically is her revisiting the viral moment of her going to Usher's concert where they had the There Goes My Baby performance, and her ex-boyfriend and baby's father, Darius, did not really care for the interaction along with the outfit choice that she decided to wear to the concert. Now, Keke said that this particular song is very real, very raw, and this is her speaking about her feelings that she felt in the moment that she could not speak out about then. This song is also co-written by her best friend of 22 years, which is Taylor Parks. And if you guys know her, she is a awesome writer, but also an amazing singer.
If y'all know any of Ariana Grande songs, especially on that album with Nasty or Break Up With Your Ex, that is Taylor Parks.
Yes. Now, I actually think that this was a great way for Keke to channel what she felt and express it. I don't know how many of y'all actually listen to Keke Palmer's music, but she is a really great artist. I think that she kind of gets stuck in that Jacob Lattimore bracket.
That conversation.
Yes,
yeah.
More so of she's known to be a actress more than she's known to be a actual musician or artist. But she does a great job with letting out her feelings. And I feel like collaborating with her best friend who has been around for 22 years, that's kind of like the perfect person to sit and have this breakdown of this song. So I think that this was a really cute song. I like that Keke was vulnerable. I like that she sort of kind of popped her shit at the same time. And I like that she talked about all of the different spaces that this experience took her in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely like that. I like seeing Keke Palmer come out with new music because I'm a Keke Palmer fan. So when we talk about the pick few fans who actually care about the music and the craft of their artistry as far as acting goes, I would be one of those because I'm always here when Keke put out new music. And you know, it's not even that I ain't gonna say I listen to her music. I support her music because I support her. So I would listen to it out of support for Keke Palmer because she actually can sing. And the music structure, the sound, the arrangement, it's actually a good listen.
Yeah.
You know, I know she had one song called I Don't Belong to You. Now, that one I really liked.
Love I Don't Belong to You. But her last project that she put out, Standards on there, hard. Ungorgeous, hard. Like, I'm literally a Disney Channel Keke Palmer listener. Like, I don't know if y'all know the song Keep It Moving, but it used to come on Disney Channel late at night when they would play the music videos. And yeah, just know that I'm a true Keke Palmer listener when it comes to her music. Now, I'm going to say that My Confessions and this Keke Palmer carousel rollout situation was actually for the culture because I think a lot of people wanted to directly hear from her. And by her putting it in her music, that was the perfect way to get it off of her chest.
Yeah, that definitely was. Now, while we talk about other things that's going on in music and we talk about some new music that's out, we cannot move on without talking about my girl, Saliorr. Saliorr had just recently dropped her studio album called From Florida's Finest. And when I tell y'all, I'm here for it because the cockroach on the cover art freaking got my attention. Who makes themselves morph into a cockroach? That's crazy, right?
Yes.
But she did. Now, Saliorr, can you tell us the story behind that, though?
So she's morphing from a cockroach to Saliorr.
But why the cockroach?
Because she
Is it
probably...
because it's a Florida bug? Palmetto bug?
One, it's a Florida bug. It might be a play on that. Two, cockroaches live forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can live through so many different climate changes, through all of that. But then it was something else that I was going to say. I feel like it's also supposed to be a spin on, you know how people look at roaches as kind of like one of the nastiest bugs like ever. You know what I'm saying? Like
Squish.
just being at the bottom, like starting from the bottom and elevating herself to the top. Now, Saliorr, tell us if I'm correct.
It sounds like you're correct because that makes sense.
But shout out to my evaluation of films class at Florida A&M University, because one thing about it, two things for sure, I will evaluate some movies, pictures, art, a little bit of everything. I'll be trying to dissect it. I think that Saliorr is somebody to keep a lookout for. Okay,
I definitely do, because in a short amount of time, Saliorr has made a lot of noise. She made more noise than a lot of y'all are able to make in 2 years.
Yes, and I think that she's like a creative genius. Like, I love her dress code, and I like how it's kind of like a pinup doll kind of vibe mixed with a rockery vibe, but then she still got the Florida feel because she got all black grills. Like, I just think that she's very authentic and like fresh for the industry right now.
And y'all, me finding out that she is from Florida makes me love her even more, because I support everything FLA.
And then she's definitely like pretty hood too, probably because she from Jacksonville. Duval, like, stand up. Oh my God. Now, my songs from this project right now are Sincerely, Girls Girl,
Sincerity,
that. Sincerity and Girls Girl. I would give those my top two right now. Girls Girl is actually fire because it's a play on her being a girl's girl, but also like telling the girl like, I will take you down too. So it's kind of like, it's kind of cute. It's like, oh, Saliorr, okay.
So from the album, my favorite records was Will You Lie, Sincerity, Pookie's Requiem, and Where's the Lug Nut?
Yeah.
Or Give Me the Lug Nut. Something like
Damn,
that.
it's one more. It was the second single that came out.
That's Sincerity you talking about, right?
No.
Pookie's Requiem?
Nope.
Not that. I wanna. You talking about not Will You Lie? You talking about Cut something? It's like Cut Off.
Something.
That was the.
I can't think of
Will
it
You
right
Lie
now.
was first after Pookie's Requiem, which was the breakout record.
I can't remember. You may be right, like as far as like which one it is, but all in all, I just say Saliorr is for the culture of R&B music right now, and she is somebody to look out for because she's not just a girl that can stay in that R&B pocket. She's coming in, showing us the versatility out the gate.
What I like about Saliorr, and this is a age-old conversation that has been had over and over and over. Saliorr is another depiction of why it's important to have spot-on branding.
Yeah.
She shows us consistency. Nobody cares about nothing else right now but consistency and brand. Show up as who you are and let me believe that.
Yeah.
Let me feed into that. Even down to how you just broke down her whole idea of the cockroach on the cover art. It seems on the surface level that that's just her being morphing into a cockroach, but the meaning behind the cockroach is so much deeper. But it's also effective enough for you to ask questions.
Yeah.
You know, that's the biggest part. You know, Gary Vee said it best. He said that we live in an age of attention. If you can't garner attention, you can't garner anything else that will help your career.
For sure.
In the age of social media, it's all about attention. How to get attention to your brand? You make people ask about your brand.
Yeah.
You make them ask questions. Saliorr makes me ask too many questions, which makes me like her more.
Yeah, I love that. That actually was a great way to explain it. Now, I'm going to say that's definitely for the culture right there.
Yeah, I'll say it's definitely for the culture.
Now, you guys, we have Castanet and NLE Choppa, who just recently went gold, Dante.
Yeah.
With an old record.
That was like really odd. It was random out of the blue.
Last year. You remember the name of the record?
Something on an Avalanche.
Something on the Avalanche. It is something on the Avalanche. Bomb somebody on the Avalanche. Ain't it like bomb something?
I just know the last word in the song is Avalanche. The song is actually funny because I listened to it, but it was definitely like, this is random. Very
random. And the fact that it went gold, the fact that Castanet is having the run that he's like having right now is crazy. His net worth is over $14 million. And that is a net worth that was like calculated prior to him doing the Met Gala situation, the after party streaming. So I could only imagine. And when you think about how long he's been streaming and how far he has come, it's just proof that when you're consistent with anything, the work will show the fruits of your labor. So shout out to Kai, because that's very major.
Now, I have a question to you about that when we talk about like Kai and our situation, and we talk about just the whole evolution of like streaming, because live streaming before that was like gaming, and not just the gaming sense, it was also just lives, right? Like going live on Instagram, YouTube, social platforms. For some reason, and it's a really odd thing because I honestly am not a fan of it, but you know how you kind of look and see what trends are getting ready to happen? Why do I feel like this streaming era is going to lead into a 24-hour streaming era? Where people will have cameras set up to show their everyday life all day, streaming 24 hours a day, where you can go on a social platform and scroll through people's everyday movement.
Believe it or not, it's kind of already there. That's where they started having like these different marathons. I don't know if you see, sometimes they do sleepathons, or
and I see them on Kai's.
Yeah, sometimes they do like, we gonna stay up for a whole 24 to 48 hours and be on the live the whole time so you guys can see. So it's kind of already at that door front, knocking on that door.
Cause I look at everything as like grooming, right?
I think that's sick though.
I feel like we're being groomed for that next generation to live in that era,
aka become Sims characters in real time.
Exactly, pretty much, where people can watch your everyday move.
Yeah.
And in other words, Big Brother, they can see exactly what you're doing at all points times of the day.
Yeah, no, it's a no for me. I don't think I would ever fall into that wave. Y'all already got me on TikTok doing the hips and all this other stuff, and also ATL. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God! Now, while we're speaking of chat, right? So DDG, come to the chat.
Yeah.
His new album, it came out. Now, I'll tell y'all, I listened to the album. So I talk a lot of shit about DDG, and I ain't gonna say it in the bad way because I fucks with DDG. I do fucks with DDG, right? This album was on point. I liked it. I liked it. I could like I said, I listened to his music, but it was always like, I like this song, I like this song, I don't like that song. Yeah, it was stuff like that. But
you hated his song that he "Don't Take My Son." You hated that.
But this album showed that he put some time into it. He put some work.
Yeah,
and I appreciated it. Like, I got a few favorite songs on there already. So I really appreciated it. And then he got a lot of features on there as well that I was surprised to see.
Yes,
from like
some real ones.
Wiz Khalifa,
Ty Dolla $ign,
Queen Naija.
Yeah.
There was another Offset.
Yeah.
Like he brought out some.
He got some real big names, solid features
on this album. So I'm here for the album. Rob 49. Yeah, Rob 49. Shinsia.
Literally.
Like, I was here for this. I couldn't even be mad at it.
Me neither. Now, this album is called Blame the Chat, and that right there, I think is a dope name because we know him to be a YouTuber and a streamer. So the album being called Blame the Chat was just a great way to play on the fact that social media gets DDG in a lot of shit.
Right. It made it on brand for him, even down to some of the maybe not intentional rollout pieces he did for this project, because like him and Bia, right? He did a stream with Bia, and they talked about why he hadn't been able to get features from other female rappers and artists, and he kind of blamed it on Haley, saying that, you know, she's telling her friends not to do songs with him. Now, they laughed about it because they didn't know how true it was, but he was standing 10 toes down, stating that he know that that's why.
Yeah.
Because of his relationship with her. That kind of plays into the name of Blame the Chat, you know, because it kind of plays into the whole marketing and whole idea behind his album and the brand. And even when you listen to the music, this is the one time I can say DDG actually was storytelling. Yeah. Because some of the songs he's talking about these situations in a way kind of like we asked for.
Yeah, literally, we said take it out in the music if that's what you're gonna do.
Right, if you're gonna do it, take me on a story through the music. Like the song with him and Bia, I felt the story.
Yeah, I'm here for it. DDG, I'm gonna take a listen because I didn't take a full listen, but I did like click through a couple of songs just to hear like what the cadence was, what the vibe was, what it was giving. And overall, I think that just from the little snippet that I was able to hear, that it sounded pretty good. But I'll keep y'all posted on what I really feel because as y'all saw at the beginning of this episode, I went back on my words for Mariah the Scientist. So I ain't gonna say too much.
Opinion subject to change.
Yeah, hello. Shout out to X. For teaching us how to say that.
Producer X, where you at?
Now, you guys, this has been another great episode of Culture or Clickbait, and y'all already know what we do. We take the hottest headlines in music, sports, and entertainment, and we say if it's for the culture
or simply just for clicks.
Period.
Make sure y'all check us out on all social media platforms at the HBUC on YouTube and social media, Instagram, Facebook, where you get your podcast. I'm your boy Dante.
And I'm your girl Daysha E.
You can follow me at I am Dante Brown.
And you can follow me at Bella_DOND the Dime.
And we are out. Bow. Coffee.